Tony.
We've got a big weekend.
TMD.
Got to make sure you got your ducks in a row.
Weekend preview.
Can't ask for much more than that.
Yes, my friends, it is time to go racing at Talladega. Time to put those short track skills to the side, lace up, and prepare for battle on the 2.66 miles super speedway in Alabama.
Kevin Harvick wants to make some noise before this one is over, and he has chased down the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., closing to within 1/2 a car length of the rear bumper. There's trouble. It's Jimmy Johnson. He's in a slide down to the bottom of the racetrack in turn 4. Doesn't make contact with the wall, but Johnson has spun here at turn 4.
Jimmy Johnson spins down on the apron of the racetrack as they come down and take the white flag. The caution does not come out. Johnson is out of harm's way, didn't appear to make any contact with anything else, and now it's about a 2-mile run to the checkered flag. Who is it going to be? They're in 2.
Kevin Harvick trying to make a run on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Looks to the inside. Jr. blocks it. Off turn 2. The fans going nuts as Jr. hits the back chute.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. splits the difference. Here comes Kevin Harvick. He changes lanes down to the inside. Earnhardt Jr. blocks him. Jr. now down to the inside. Harvick's hands are tied. He can't do anything. It's all Dale Jr. to 3.
Final time into turns 3 and 4. It's Dale Jr. by just 3 yards over Kevin Harvick. The third place man is Elliott Sadler. Ricky Craven is in 4th. They're single file, but it's Dale Jr. leading the field off of turn 4.
The Budweiser Chevrolet comes into the tri-oval, works his way to the start-finish line, going for 4 in a row at Talladega. He makes it happen, winning the Aaron's $4.99.
Gatorade Victory Lane and a lot of Budweiser flowing here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. shaking the hands of all of his crew members. He's just congratulated Tony Eury Sr. Dale, would you have thought it an hour and a half ago? Would you have thought you could have battled back?
Well, we slid back and we was getting in the wrong line and couldn't get a whole lot of help. I mean, we got help from people, and I told my spotter, we slid back to about 10th there with 3 to go. I said, man, don't worry, we can still win it. We can still win it. And, I don't know. You just took the runs you could get and had a big old hole down there going into 3, ran down across the apron, took the lead, and never looked back. I got to thank, first off, Kevin Harvick. He was my drafting partner when it counted, and we wouldn't be sitting here without the help he gave us there at the end.
That's how it sounded. April 6th, 2003. 20 years ago this weekend, Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the checkered flag, wins the Aaron's $4.99. You heard Joe Moore mention it. The last of 4 wins in a row for Dale Jr. at Talladega. That was also Jr.'s last win at Talladega for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, and that was one of 16 Talladega Cup wins for a driver with the last name of Earnhardt. Dale Sr. with 10 and Dale Jr. with 6. It's going to be a triple header weekend this weekend at Talladega. It's going to kick off tomorrow with the ARCA Menard Series, race 3 of the season, the 61st time the ARCA Series has raced at Talladega. The series first visited Talladega back in 1969. That's when Jim Vandiver earned his maiden series victory. And in the years that followed, many recognizable names have won at Talladega, including Ramo Stott, Iggy Katona, Mark Martin, Davey Allison, Red Farmer, Charlie Glotzback, Tim Steele, Bobby Gerhardt, Frank Kimmel, Justin Allgaier, Ty Dillon, Justin Haley, Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, Corey Heim, and the most recent winner at Talladega, Nick Sanchez. In fact, ARCA Menard Series events at Talladega have produced 16 consecutive different race winners. It'll be the General Tire at Talladega tomorrow. The General Tire 200, that is 76 laps, 202.16 miles. You can hear the call on FS1 Motor Racing Network. We'll have that call as well. That is the opening act. The nightcap, quote unquote, as it were, will be the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Tomorrow will be race 3 of 4 for the Xfinity Series Dash for Cash. John Hunter Nemechek, Sammy Smith, Cole Custer, and Josh Berry, all eligible for that bonus. Austin Hill comes into that race tomorrow, pulling double duty, running tomorrow's race, and obviously the Geico 500 on Sunday. And he has the opportunity to get the $100,000 bonus, at least qualified for it, going to Dover the following week. So what could give you that opportunity, Austin Hill?
Stay aggressive all day and try to run up front if I can. Make the right moves at the right time. Just, figure out how much different the Cup car drives than the Xfinity car. And that's going to be one of the big things, too, is, the Xfinity car, when you pull out of line and you make moves, it's going to have a different type of run than what you're going to get on the Cup side. You know, you might not have as big of a run, or you might have more of a run. So there's things that I'm going to have to learn throughout the first stage or two on the Cup side to try to apply going into that final stage.
John Hunter Nemechek looking for a second straight win after his victory Saturday at Martinsville. As crew chief Ben Bayshore says there's going to be a lot of things to keep in mind, and also shared his impact about handling.
You put very low emphasis on handling. It's all just building the bullet. Yeah, we've been spending the last couple of weeks here just sort of fluffing and buffing on our Talladega car. You know, luckily it's the same car as we had at Daytona. It got out of there, you know, relatively unscathed. Looking forward to it. You know, it's always sort of a roll of dice of what's going to happen. We'll just go down there and take our chances and see what happens.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series Ag Pro 300 at Talladega tomorrow. 113 laps, 300.58 miles. Stage breaks at laps 25 and 50. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the ARCA Menard Series West will be back in play. It'll be race 3 of their season. Check out the Napa Auto Parts Blue Def 150. They're going to race at Kern County Raceway Park, a 150-lapper there. It doesn't start until 11:15 p.m. Eastern, and you can catch that on Flow Racing. So here's our channel schedule tomorrow. Wake up tomorrow morning with Pat Patterson on the front stretch, followed by 10:30 tomorrow morning. Motor Racing Network will have coverage of qualifying for the Cup cars at high noon in the East. It'll be Press Pass with Brad Gilly and Jordan Bianchi, followed by Dialed In at 3 in the East. Motor Racing Network's call of the Ag Pro 300 at 4:30. And then Claire B. Lang will be back with you and Dialed In until 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. Coming up on Sunday, it'll be the Cup cars back at it on the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, the season opened at Daytona International Speedway, Talladega's sister track, but it's all about Alabama, and it's all about going for the win, something Joey Logano has done 4 times on super speedways, 3 at Talladega. Joey, what is the difference between the super speedway racetracks?
Daytona is its own thing. Atlanta, obviously, completely different. Talladega, I believe it's its own thing as well. Track's wider. The ability to push around the racetrack is a little bit easier. Some drivers end up being a little bit more aggressive when it comes to that standpoint. In Daytona, 3 wide is pretty much all you got. You can go 4 wide, but it's pretty much going to end up in a wreck. Here, 4 wide, you can actually do, and it's not even that sketchy. So you have a lot more lanes to defend.
Tyler Reddick, one of 6 drivers in the Toyota camp, looking for a good finish on Sunday. And the 2311 racing driver believes where you start will have a lot to do with where you finish on Sunday.
Pretty much, whether it's been Daytona or Atlanta, these first 2 plate-style races, we've been able to really do a good job and be up towards the front when it cycles through. So speedway racing has definitely changed a lot with this next-gen car, so it's going to be all about track position all day long. So hopefully we qualify really good and can start up front and stay up front all day long. It'll be a lot of 2-wide racing and a lot of I feel like it'll be a frustrating race at times, but hopefully we can manage track position, stay up where we need.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won the season opening Daytona 500. Now he'll look to double up this weekend at Talladega Super Speedway. His last Talladega win came 6 years ago this weekend.
So many times it seems that, if the top line is dominant, you have a group of cars that will go to the bottom. They start making a little bit of progress, and then all of a sudden when somebody gets close enough to the front, then they have an opening in the outside lane, they'll take it. And then all of a sudden it kills that inside lane. So, things like that are what we watch for. But, I feel confident. Obviously, we've been in victory lane there before, and it should be a fun weekend.
Zane Smith, making one of his starts for Front Row Motorsports Sunday afternoon, laid out his goals for the 500 miles at Talladega.
This will be my second race with a 38 group, and so still just trying to make it to the end of these things. I feel like if you do so, most of the time you have a pretty good day. It's just wild how long these races are, and the amount of time for the amount of mistakes you could have is crazy. So just trying to make it to the end and finish a super speedway is a accomplishment of its own, and so that's our goal.
Ryan Preece will be wheeling the number 41 Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang for Stewart Haas Racing. He'll be hunting for super speedway win number 1 on a track that is in stark contrast where we raced 1 week ago.
you have to adapt quick, right? Especially when you look at NASCAR's schedule this year. It's the most diverse schedule that I've ever been a part of, whether we're going from a half-mile racetrack to a super speedway to a road course to a dirt track. You kind of have to be really quick to adapt to things, but there's one thing that I'm certain of. Our Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang is going to be fast at the super speedway this weekend. I was really pleased with how my car drove at Daytona. We can be aggressive and try to get some more stage points and be there at the end.
Chase Briscoe comes to Talladega after a strong run last Sunday at Martinsville. He also had successful finger surgery this week, and his crew chief Johnny Klossmeyer gave his thoughts of what he expects at Talladega.
I think it's going to be kind of Talladega as normal. There's going to be a big one at some point, but our intention on the 14 is to try to stay up front and race, and that way Chase can learn and see what his car is going to do, because you kind of have to, throughout the day, you have to kind of build rapport with the cars that you need help with at the end of the race. So if you're riding in the back, you can't just get up to the front and expect everyone to work with you. So I think there's that kind of element of the plate races. Nonetheless, I think it's going to be 2 and 3 wide this race, and I think guys will definitely be more aggressive than they would for the playoff race.
Randall Burnett is the crew chief for Kyle Busch, the number 8 Chevy Camaros at Richard Childress Racing. Randall gives us his performance forecast for the Geico 500.
We're fortunate enough we had really fast cars in Daytona, both us and the 3, so that's good. That's a good place to start. We're definitely going to work on them, try and make them even a little bit better, and just see how qualifying goes, see where that puts us in the field, and that'll kind of dictate how we approach the race, right? If you go to the back, and if you start at the back, your mentality for how you approach your race is probably a little different than if you start at the front. So just kind of got to see where we shake out and have a good game plan for either way.
Austin Cindric is a good super speedway racer. His crew chief, Jeremy Bullins, though, says stage points have changed the impact of how to lay out strategy at super speedways.
Overall, the stage points have become so important that you don't necessarily see the ride around in the back all day program like you did before stage racing. You still see some guys do it, and I don't necessarily blame them, because anything can happen. But I think the stage points are just too important, and so I'd rather be at the front. And if we get wrecked leading the race, then it just wasn't our day. So that's kind of how we're going to approach it, and kind of how we always have.
The Geico 500 at Talladega, 188 laps, 500.08 miles. Stage breaks at laps 60 and 120. Fox will be your television destination for the race on Sunday. Here's our schedule here on the channel for Sunday. Front stretch with Pat Patterson gets us opened up for business, 7 a.m. Eastern time. You'll hear Loose Ends, the best of Sirius XM NASCAR radio at 11 a.m. in the East. 1 o'clock, it'll be Fantasy Racing Preview with Uncle Petey. 2 o'clock, it will be Motor Racing Network's call and NASCAR Live Race Day, the Geico 500 coming your way. Once the checkered flag falls, post-race reaction with you on the Sirius XM NASCAR Radio post-race show, followed by Dialed In with Claire B. Lang, who'll take us until 10 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. Here are your driver to crew chatter channels for the Geico 500. Chase Elliott and his team can be heard on Sirius 136, XM 380, streaming on 980. Bubba Wallace and his 2311 race team can be heard on Sirius 137, XM 381, streaming on 981. And Joey Logano and his crew can be heard on Sirius 138, XM 382, streaming on 982. Those channels will go live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.